Okay, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? Let me just get a screen up. We're about to open. Well, we have just opened. Boom. Okay. How is everyone in the chat? We've got Dave Bell. Good morning to you. Peter, how are you? Heng Wong, Nils, Coach Z. The whole gang's back. Great to see you all. So we just opened. Very bearish volume-wise. Also, I got some updates with that indicator. That I've been playing around with it. I found some interesting stuff, and I'll show you guys in a moment. Where is it? Here it is. So today, the efficiency is very bullish, apparently, according to the indicator. I mean, 0 is all the way here. So it's been bullish since the get-go of today. So since we started, since the beginning of the day, it's been pretty much bullish. But I found that looking for divergences actually has a really, really nice, gives you some nice opportunities. So I'll explain what I mean in a moment. Also got rid of the wicks as well. So it's just the body of the candles it's showing now, which is a little bit nicer. Cody, good to see you. Amar, Crypto, great to see you all. So pretty weak open, nothing too major as of yet. But what I was explaining, I'll wait for a few more people to come in, then I'll explain about this indicator, the kind of things I've been playing around with, because it's been pretty cool looking for divergences within the indicator. So, Peter, guten Tag to you. Happy Friday, exactly. Happy Friday. Kova, a new person. I think you're new. I've never seen your name before. Good morning, new sub here. Perfect. Great to have you here, my friend. Cherry, good to see you. So we're still kind of playing around. We haven't really gone anywhere. Bit of sell volume came in, and then that was pretty much it. Let me just move this. Let me get my cash account up as well. Cool. All right. We are locked and loaded. So yeah, lots of sell volume came in. Didn't really do that much. Bit of buy volume coming in. Still not really spectacular. It's very kind of meh at the moment. In terms of levels, we've got quite a few little gaps. If I just zoom out, so this one looks really nice. We have touched that one. We've kind of broken through it. We're kind of trading within it. So I'm kind of ignoring this one for now. And then, yeah, this one at the bottom here, around 27,160. That one looks very nice. ES is dropping. JB, good morning to you. Cherry says the Dow as well is selling off. Okay, interesting. Well, the NQ is still kind of propped up a bit. So that could be a good indicator that we might go down. But speaking of this indicator, while we let the market just figure itself out and do what it wants to do for a while. So I want to show you. So remember, this indicator shows the efficiency, right? Of so how many buy contracts divided by how many upticks and how many sell contracts divided by downticks. And then it plots it cumulatively as well, right? So overall today, it's more bullish, the efficiency, right? But if we just look at like the highs and lows, so for example, here is this little low here, right? If we match it up, so this low, let me try and make right here, and then this low here, they match up, right? And then we've got a little high here, which matches up to up here, and then we've got a low here, which matches up to here. Now, the idea is, what I've noticed is when you break the high, so for example, or when you break the low, so for example, on this one, this candle here, right? This was very efficient, apparently, right? And it took out this high, but in real life, this candle didn't take out this high. So that's a bit of a bullish signal I've noticed until the efficiency changes. So it's like only for like a few candles, it can kind of give you some good little, you can do like very quick scalps, I've noticed. If I zoom in, maybe if I, and you want to ignore the wicks of the candles. You just want to look at the body, because this is all this is showing, just the body. So we don't really, I'm trying to show you, like, for example, okay, here. So for example, look at this candle, right? Is this one. So the low of that candle's there, and on price, the low is about there, right? So when we broke that, which was almost this candle here, I mean, that kind of actually lines up quite well. I didn't exactly, no, that was my bad. That lines up perfectly. There was no divergence there. But I've just been playing around with it in the last, like, well, I didn't trade yesterday. I wasn't at the computer, but I was looking earlier today, and I was like, oh, this is looking quite cool, these divergences. Some are really obvious. Others you got to kind of, no, that's no divergence there. No divergence there. Notice how, like, here, this is, on this one, we broke that low, right? That's that low here. But actually in efficiency, we didn't actually break it. So that's not a sell, basically. It's like, oh, sellers are looking a bit bad. And then I'm trying to see if there's, no, that came, where's that? Nah. So there's nothing here at the moment. But when I see something, I'll point it out and I'll show you guys. I'm still kind of, what's the word? Still trying to back test it a bit, but it's pretty cool so far. Like from earlier on today, what I saw a few times, like these divergences were amazing. And I was like, damn, this looks pretty cool. Mark, good morning. How are you? As of yet, there's nothing here. This is just chop at the moment. Is the chart below a cumulative delta indicator? No. So this is something I built using ChatGPT. So all it does is work out the efficiency of every candle, but it does it cumulatively, right? So it counts up. If it doesn't use the delta, it uses the buy and sell. So it counts up how many buy contracts and divides it with how many upticks on every candle. But it does it bit by bit. So it does it like with every cluster. And then it does the same with the sellers, and then subtracts those numbers together and then gives you a baseline score. And then it cumulatively adds it up. Does that make sense? So, and then it plots it as a chart. And it's something, I've published it live. You can actually download it and put it on TradingView if you want. Oh, didn't mean to click that, sorry. But yeah, I'm still kind of playing around with it. Let me go back to the delta. So the idea is basically the more efficient, which side is kind of able to move the market easier with less contracts. Does that make sense? So notice now, okay, this is quite interesting. We still got 15 seconds, but notice right now, that high is this one here, right? And okay, well, we broke it in price and we broke it on efficiency. So that's just standard. That's not, there's nothing, there's no divergence there. But say, for example, this candle didn't break that high and was like down here, closed down here, but on the on this chart it did. That's like, that's a divergence. That's like, oh wow, buyers are really efficient. Buy. But I'll see if we get anything. All right, now we're starting to move away from, what do you call it? Basically just to open the little chop we had. I'm going to make the clusters a little bit bigger just to make it a bit easier to see. We're approaching that little gap here, so it should be interesting. I really want to show you guys something with this. I'm just waiting for some kind of divergence to happen so I can like point it out for you guys. Where is this high? Okay, so here's a slight divergence, nothing great, right? If we look at this candle, it lines up with that, right? That's the high there. And we broke it in price, but we didn't break it in efficiency, meaning buyers kind of lost efficiency a bit here, meaning there's a better chance, or a small chance it's better, it's more likely it could potentially go down here. But you want to see not only buyers fail, but also sellers be efficient. So you want to see both sides do really well. I mean, sorry, one side do bad and the other side do really well. And where is that high? That high is all the way up here. Let's mark out the high. We'll mark it out here as well. Why not? Ah, shit. What have I done? It's the only thing. Every time you move it, it just like tries to clip it to the chart, which is a bit annoying. Still nothing yet. This is still pretty boring, this market at the moment. So this kind of gap kind of held a bit. It did poke down a bit on the open, but the open can be a bit rough. So, and then buyers clawed it back. It looks like buyers are taking this now. Let me make this a bit smaller like that. Make it a bit easier to see. I can do that. All right, cool. All right, still waiting for something. Still waiting. So we're in that gap. I'm trying to see if there's anything interesting happening. Sellers are they're still interested in shorting. They haven't given up yet. Just trying to figure out. So the open, had a bunch of buying come in. I'm trying to figure out the story here. Those buyers took over. Okay, something interesting happening here. Ooh, those buyers were really inefficient. Oh, those buyers are. This is quite interesting. We had a big bunch of buy volume come in. They're really trying to keep it up here. But they might take it. Well, they might get completely wiped out here. Oh, they keep adding. They really don't want to lose this level. And it looks like they lost it. Shit. And there they go out. You saw them get stopped out all here. All those buyers. Damn. So I hope that kind of made sense. What I was pointing out earlier about the little divergence here. Oh, maybe we got one here and I didn't even notice. 1 minute. Yeah, okay, a very slight one, but it's not perfect. So if we look at the low here, right, that lines up to the low of the body here. And then the low here, basically, it's pretty much the same. It's not even really. Nah, tell a lie. There's no real divergence there. But you only saw, the only one we spotted was buyers being inefficient, right, at the top here. Because if we mark it up, if we match it up with the candles, where's the little, I think it was this one here. Yeah. So if we match up the high of that candle with high of that. No, it did take it out. Was it this one? I think it was this one. It was this one. Yeah, my bad. It was this candle here. High of that one. And then if you look at, we actually broke it in price, but we didn't break it here. And that shows a little bit of inefficiency on the buyers. But nothing spectacular yet. I'm just waiting to hear from Trump when the tweet is going out. We're going to short the shit out of this market. Yeah. You never know. You never know. I should put my phone on charge. There's nothing here at the moment, though. This is a very... I'm not seeing anything major at the moment. It looks like we're just trapped between two areas. We're kind of just bouncing between these two gaps at the moment. So we're in a bit of a range-bound market right now. I mean, we did have, I believe there was an opening gap as well. Pretty sure, yeah, there is. Not a huge one, but nonetheless, there is a little daily gap there that we never visited. I mean, I don't know. Could we go down there? Absolutely. I mean, it's more than possible. We have a big sell-off. It could very easily happen. Fix this tab. What's going on? Slowing your browser. The tab is using financial juice. You're using extra. Why financial juice? That's all right. Who cares? Slowing down my PC, apparently. Look at that. All right, we're starting to see now. This is actually looking a bit better now. Now we're starting to see potentially. No, we're not. Maybe a little bit. There's a bit of buying happening. The volume distribution looks a bit more bearish, but buyers are still coming in on these lows. So unless sellers come in heavy and take out these buyers and are willing to keep shorting lower down, which it doesn't look like they are, sellers aren't coming with much size at the bottom. I don't think it's they're just going to rotate back up again. Yeah, there's really not anything at this moment in time. We're still in the range, and it's not a big range as well. It's a bit of a small one. Peter says, my money is on a sell-off either in New York or it's going to gap down over the weekend, but don't let me influence anybody. No, yeah, I mean, look, more than possible. At this moment in time, I don't know. I mean, overall, it's way more bullish and bearish, but anything's possible, man. It could just be one tweet, I do feel like there's a bit of, I mean, I hope not. I actually hope everything goes smoothly, because I believe in like 2 weeks or so, I gotta fly like right past Iran. So I don't want like, please. Hopefully the plane takes a big detour. I don't know. So I'm a little bit worried when I'm like flying, all the missiles are flying up and down past me. A little bit worried being on a plane. Nah, there's nothing here. Look at this. We just have to wait, sit on our hands, wait for something to appear. Maybe on the 15-minute, we might see a bit easier volume distribution. Nah, not at all. Nothing. I mean, if anything, on a 50-minute, it looks a little bit more bullish, mainly because we're above the majority of the sell volume, right? But I'm guessing a lot of these sellers are already out the market and got stopped out a while back, because that's a lot from the open. And I think a lot of them got already out the market. So I don't think it's really that much in play. So I don't know. Where you go, mate. So I'll be flying to Dubai, and then after a couple of days in Dubai, and then I'll be flying to India. So yeah, so Dubai's like there, Iran's there. This is obviously going to be flipped for the camera, and then India's like there. So I'd have to like fly right past Iran. Just downloaded your indicator, Sammy. Works well for finding divergences. Most divergent indicators I've used on TradingView are pretty rubbish. Amazing. Yeah, play around with it. I mean, I didn't build it for divergences, but when I was just kind of looking around and just sort of playing around with it, I started noticing when there are divergences, it works quite nicely. So I'm like, oh, cool. I wouldn't worry too much about Iranian airspace. I don't seem to have an air force left. You'll be all right. Thank you, IC. I'm gonna call you ICD. A lot easier, ICD. Yeah, that's a new name, I think. I haven't seen you about. Maybe are you new here to the stream? All right, maybe sellers are taking it here. You are new. Amazing. Welcome. Welcome. Normally there's a bit more action, but we've just had a very, very boring open. But stick around. There will be some trades. I promise you that. There always is. We're still rotating. Yeah, so again, the same kind of higher up, which makes perfect sense, right? You know, we got pretty much a range happening right now, right? So sellers aren't really that interested in shorting at the lows, but they have to. If they want to break through here, they have to add size at the bottom here and take out all the buyers. But buyers obviously willing to buy at the bottom, and they're not really willing to buy that high up either. So until one side breaks, nothing's going to really happen. Do you know what I mean? I notice my footprint numbers look different, way higher numbers than yours. Do you have a special setup for it? No special setup. Just make sure you're on the exact same instrument. So the Nasdaq, I'm on the 1 minute chart, and this is the delta, and the ticks per row is probably to do with that. I think maybe your ticks per row is a different setting. Mine's set to 20 at the moment. And it's obviously a delta footprint as well. All right. Sammy, where can I get your new indicators? Sure. I believe I can paste a link in the chat. I also noticed, I think TradingView admin, because I saw admin boosted your script, and I was like, who's admin? And then I checked their profile, and I'm like, their social links are literally, if you look at the bottom, x.com/tradingview. The website is tradingview.com. Joined in 2011, like when TradingView started. I think the TradingView admin for some reason boosted my indicator. And for those of you who watched me, what do you call it? When I like created the indicator, it was like the actual name was just like absolute bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Like you have no idea what it is unless you like we called it midday petroleum boom, and the description is just utter nonsense. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know why TradingView admin is downloading it, but fair play. He was looking for oil, probably. I think people are downloading it thinking it's some sort of like oil trading indicator. They're like, oh, maybe in the midday oil booms or something. But no, it's just utter nonsense. But I will paste the link here for you, Mark, in the chat. There you are. So there you go. Fonsecal, hi, Sammy, my indicator's still with so I didn't change the indicator. All I did was double click in the settings and just made the wicks white so they don't appear, basically. Like if I switch on the wicks again, let's just make them black. You can see the wicks are there, but I found that they're completely useless because the efficiency is going to be massively like dependent. As soon as a new candle comes in, and you know, at first a contract might only be 1 or 2 contracts or whatever coming in. Therefore, efficiency is going to be like really massive. That's why you got these huge wicks in it. But so you only want to kind of pay attention once. Oh shit, we've just broken down. I've just realized we have sold off. You really want to pay attention only like towards the end of the candle, because the more volume that's in it, the more accurate basically the data is. But when a fresh candle gets created, it's just, you know, when there's like 4 contracts or something, it's just gonna, you know, be mental because it's dividing it by upticks and downticks, and then so it's just the numbers just insane basically. Okay, so we saw a slight divergence just from that one candle there that indicated the buyers were failing. But again, what the reason we broke out is more just sellers were willing to finally add a bit of size near the bottom. And then when we took out the low, you can see all the buyers getting out here, all getting stopped out. All those buyers in the range just out. So now back to normal play. Oh, we're at the second gap. Do have some buyers coming back in again. Let's see if we get a bit of a divergence here or something. So we're looking at okay. No, the buyers are still average. There's no divergence. So yeah, you see how big the candle becomes? That's just because it's new. And as soon as volume starts coming into it, it starts making it a normal size candle again. So you basically want to ignore the first like 30 seconds of the candle. It's just utter nonsense essentially. Hey Eric, good to see you. 1K day, 2 live are paying me. Amazing. Going for London low at 27.065. 27. It could do. I still think that there is a chance we're going to close the gap from the day potentially. It looks like it does want to go there. It's definitely starting to look a lot more bearish just based on structure. But they do have a lot to clear to really get it down. So we'll see. I am going to be a little bit more bearish for now. CT Content, good morning. It would be nice if I get a like on this live stream each day. We get a lot of free info. Thank you, Coach C. Yeah, if you could take a second just to hit like, that would be much appreciated. All right, the buyers are starting to. So remember, we're trying to identify fresh volume at any given point. I'm going to start gearing up for a potential trade here. Get this account up. 5 contracts. Okay, got that ready. Cash account ready. Let's see if this account is ready. Yep, so that's nice and ready. All right. Let me check. What is it? 5. Yep, cool. All right. Let's see if we get a trade here. All right, we've got some sellers coming back in again. We want to keep an eye on these sellers. What are they doing? 110, 114. Are they going to do another push down? Not yet. Those buyers there are defending. Come on. Nothing yet. Still a bit boring. There is a lot of sell pressure coming in. I just feel like those buyers there are doing very well. They're kind of keeping, they're defending quite well. I want to see buyers fail. And then, so fresh buyers come in, like these guys here. I want to see them come in and start failing. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is, what the hell? That feels a bit news-like. Spiked. Anything come out? Consumer sentiment. No, but that was a minute ago, so it wasn't that. Nothing. Looks, maybe this is the only thing that came out, but it's not red. Minister will be on brief visit to Pakistan for bilateral talks. Okay. That was a bit of that really did spike. There's some fresh sellers. Buyers still coming in. This is a hard one to read right now. A hard one to read, I'll tell you that. I don't like these buyers here. They did really, really well. These guys here did really, really well. They really kept this market up. They kept. There's part of me now that's looking a bit more bullish because of these guys here. But sellers are still coming in quite hard. Those buyers didn't fail either. We do have. It's a really tough one to read, man. Really, really tough one to read. Let's see what happens here. This is going to be interesting. Do these buyers exit or do they add? That's what we want to know. 65, 9, 27. It looks like buyers are still willing to add, but nothing huge. There's not massive clusters. $35, $37, $50. Sellers are selling against it. $60. I think they're dropping out now. You see how? Yeah. All right. So those buyers are dropping out now. Okay, those buyers are dropping out. So I think, again, we're back. Oh, no, they just came in heavy in that split second. Did you see that? Another buyer bought it up. This is a hard one to read. This is a very difficult market to read right now. This would be like flipping a coin entering here. Whether you short or buy this in this area will be like flipping a coin. There seems to be a big ass buyer there. If we can squeeze that buyer out, there's potential here. But it doesn't look like they seem a bit more. The buyer seems to want it more than, and because of that, I'm going to go in long. And can start. All right, so really, it's got to be just below there. Stop. Got a bad price. there seems to be a big buyer here. Originally, I thought they dropped out. I did see the volume spike, and they may have dropped out, but the buyer seems to want it more. They're coming in a bit more aggressively than the sellers, you know? Coming in at the tops here. Definitely some sellers got stopped out there. We saw the volume peak. So let's see if the buyers are willing to keep buying at the top. If they're not willing to buy at the top, then you might as well flatten. Get out, because then it will just rotate again. So 37, 35. I want to see the numbers jump. 54, 75 there. They're buying again. Good. See, as soon as you can identify that they bought up, we can keep holding it. But we need... Oh, my computer froze there, but I just saw the numbers. I didn't see what happened in real time there, sadly. But it looked... Maybe a big seller came in. I don't know. I didn't see what happened in real time there. It just froze everything. Fuck, maybe financial juice is slowing down my PC. All right, I'm going to give the buyers one last chance to try and buy it up here. I am in my cash as well, so I'm going to first manage that account, the challenge account. 66, 23, 72. They're still buying it, which is good. Let's see if they can this time break through. Get out, because this is a hard market to read right now. 25 or... Come on, buyers, get above them. Get above those sellers. That's it. Eat them up. 20, 10, 29, 13. They're still being sold into. Eat them up. Oh, come on. Get above them. Get above them. There's big sellers coming in. Get above them now. Nah, they're too big. All right, I'm out on my cash. I'll leave the Ola Prime account, see if the buyers can attack it at the bottom here. I'll leave this one running because this is just a challenge account, so it's not real money. But cash account, nah. This is too dangerous for me. All right, let's see if the buyers can finally do it this time. They keep taking stabs at it. You can see it. Are they going to break through? They need to add even more volume in order to keep breaking through. All right, negative 74, 120. You've seen the numbers jump in big clusters from the sell side. We need to get above it. That's good. Minus 85. Oh, back. There we go. Come on. Get above it. Get above it. That's good. 85, 65. We need more volume, though. It needs to be maybe a few hundred to break through here. Come on. 17, 90, 57, 66. The buyers are putting it in like maybe 10 or 20 contracts at a go, which isn't enough. They need bigger chunks. We need to see a bigger chunk come in. 98. That's a bit better. There we go. There we go. Good. And we want to see these sellers get stopped out. $36, good. 44, 35. We need more volume though. Come on. 56. They're adding, which is good. Now notice how the sellers of there's all their stops being triggered. Beautiful. Now we've got to keep that momentum up. Keep it going. Don't slow down here. We want to see the numbers just keep willing to be reloaded, you know. Sellers are coming back in again because this number's being pushed down. There's a good chunk. Went all the way to 70. Beautiful. Good chunk right there. 50, 47, 80. Lovely. Good. Keep going. Keep that momentum. Damn, I should have held that on my cash, but I'm quite happy. I'm happy I got out because that was touch and go there. There's definitely some stops being hit there. That spike at 220, how it spiked. Definitely some sellers getting stopped out a bit higher up. Sellers willing to come back in. We need to stay above them. If they start doing well here, I'm going to get out. 100, 86, 100. They're still coming back in. Come on, get above them. 170. Oh, they're reloading hard. Come on, buyers. Nah. Come on, one last shot here. Come on, buyers. Get above that 170. That's it. Keep reloading. Come on. I need to see volume come in. 17, 14. It's tiny numbers. We need bigger numbers. We need to get above that 170. That's it. Knocked it back down to 120, 110. Come on, one last push up. Come on, above. Pop, pop. Pop, you son of a bitch. Down. They might not take it here. Buyers are just a little waiting for like a big chunk to come in. There it is. There's a good chunk. 50. We're above them. Whew. Crisis averted. Well done. There's those sellers getting out there. You saw them get stopped out. Now we're going to can we get another push up? $100, $102, $100. There's definitely an iceberg or something sitting right here, because you're seeing the buy numbers increase a bit, but we're not pushing really much up. So there's definitely an iceberg sitting here. So we got to add more volume. Buyers need to be willing to add more volume to break through this iceberg. Otherwise, we get a retracement. And I will be exiting. Come on. Add more volume, boys. Break above it. There we go. Good. 50, 129. Again, more stops being hit. Beautiful. One last push to the TP. So my TP is just at the high, which is fine. Come on. Remember, don't be a dick for a tick. If it starts looking like it'll fail, just get the hell out. Come on. 160, 140, 158, 149. They're still adding, which is good. But there are sellers, again, trickling in, but they're not really that dangerous at this moment in time. 175, good. I think it's going to pop. I think they've got it. Come on. There is that gap there, which is slightly annoying, but I think we can pop a little bit. Do the TP. There it is. Come on. One last, maybe a tick away now. There it is. All right, cool. Nice. So, yeah, a bit annoyed I got out on my cash account. That was a very nice trade, but around here, it was touch and go. I'm not going to lie. Here was a bit touch and go. There were some sellers being very aggressive. But ultimately, again, reading it like a story, it was these guys here that were very good. And initially, I do think they did actually get stopped out, these guys. But then someone came in. I think it was this candle. I can't remember exactly. I believe it was that candle. But you just saw the buyers wanted it more. They were just a little bit more kind of, nope, we're not having it. We're not allowing the market to go further down. They're coming in just a little bit more aggressive. And don't get me wrong, the sellers were very aggressive at the tops here. But once we kind of start breaking above the sellers, then it was a bit smoother. So yeah, not bad at all. Let's look at the chat. Okay, we've got some questions. Nifa, good to see you. Hello, I'm new to trading and I'm new to your channel. Quick question, how do you get your candles to say those numbers? So Nifa, great question. There's actually a video on my channel. If you go to my channel and look for the video that is titled How to Get the Volume Footprint on TradingView, that will show you the full setup. All right. So watch that video. It's about 20 minutes long, but I will show you exactly how to get it looking like mine. All right. That's the easiest way to do it. Thank you, Peter. I'm so excited to see the rewards finally. Amazing. I can't wait for your payout, Eric. Definitely deserved. Neil, first level I'm looking at is 27,100. 27,100. I'm assuming we set that bit further down when we were down here. Oh, nice. Good work on the likes, chat. Oh, have we got a bunch of likes? Oh, yeah. Look at that. 23 likes. Amazing. Thank you, guys. Very nice. Daniel, good to see you. Take it that, Sammy. Nice trade. Thank you, Ironbug. Which other platform you recommend aside TradingView for order flow? Thanks. Great question. I mean, I mostly I always used Sierra charts, but I wouldn't recommend Sierra charts because don't get me wrong, I would say it's probably the best platform for order flow, but it will take you half a year just to learn how to do the basic things on it. It's so overly complicated, right? TradingView is by far probably the easiest to use. It's just so intuitive, and that's why I've personally switched over to TradingView as well. Someone in the chat said deep charts. Oh, that was you. Sorry. I've looked at deep charts. Looks really, really good. So, and the guys who built it, they're incredible as well. They know their stuff. I've never looked at wealth chart, to be honest. So I couldn't comment on wealth chart, but Eric seems to like them. So I think what's good is just try a few out. Like a lot of people swear by Bookmap, for example. I personally never really got on with Bookmap. I just don't know. It was just something about it. I didn't really like it. But some people, they absolutely love it. So it really comes down to your personal preference. And yeah, try a few out and see which one kind of just sort of works for you. What I like about TradingView is that you can adjust the ticks per row so easily. And that can just make it a little bit easier for my eyes to spot each cluster and kind of count in real time and keep a tally of the numbers coming in. So, because like you just saw on the trade I took, I'm not really looking at anything else. I don't have imbalances drawn out. I don't have any of the extra stuff. I'm just looking at the delta and how the numbers are changing. And basically a few like areas, obviously highs, lows, where I expect people's stops to be, take profits, gaps in volume on the volume footprint. I can actually get rid of that one. That's no longer a gap, but basic things, Can I in Ola Prime play another view account on one-click trade? Crypto, do you mean can you like copy trade? Can I in Ola Prime play another view account on one-click trade? I'm not entirely sure what you mean, Crypto. Do you mean like copy trading with multiple accounts, or? I batted with wealth charts. It has a learning curve, but it's amazing. Deep charts are good. Rev likes deep charts. Coach, can we ask Ola to bring wealth charts? I can ask them, but whether they will, I don't know. Half a year to learn the platform, then half a year to start trading. Yeah, Sierra looks complicated. No problem, Banks, no problem. Sierra is amazing though. It's like by far like it's just they need to, yeah. But they have an audience, do you know what I mean? They're kind of focused more on like the traditional kind of order flow traders. I just passed 2 evals yesterday easily thanks to the indicators and the strategies I use with their platform tools. They have amazing good stuff. Let's go. I wanted to ask a wealth chart as footprint chart like Sammy have right now. I would say DM me in Discord. Okay, yes, multi-account on Ola. You can. It comes down to the platform, copy trading. So at the moment, we offer DX Futures, this platform here. And I don't think, if I go to like account, I don't think I can, yeah, I don't think you can copy trade on multiple accounts with DX Futures. But there might be like a plugin or something you can download. I honestly don't know from the top of my head. It'll be something you'd have to Google how to, copy trade DX Futures. If there is something available out there, maybe a service or whatever, then absolutely you can do it. Okay. But I don't think it's natively baked into the platform itself, because otherwise it'll be like under accounts or something. They'll be like, I really don't know. found out my issue with the footprint numbers. There is a difference between micro and mini contract. Oh, okay. Yeah, I probably should have. Good point. So yeah, the way I do it is, so obviously on this challenge account, because on challenge accounts, I would always recommend you trade micros. Minis are it just gives you that, you're risking just a little bit too much with minis. Like this is a 100K challenge account. I'm only using 5 micros maximum. Do you know what I mean? Just because no matter what, it's very unlikely you're gonna blow the account. Do you know what I mean? Especially as a scalper, because your stops are always going to be tight, and you could be wrong maybe 4 or 5 times in a row, and it's not really that big of a deal. But I look at the actual e-mini footprint. I mean, you could use the micro footprint, to be fair, but I've just always, I don't know, I'm just used to the e-mini footprint, like the numbers, the range of numbers. If I was to look at the micro, I can imagine it'll be like 10 times as much, the numbers. Yeah. So like you can trade it, don't get me wrong, you just have to then get accustomed to like the range of numbers. How big can they go? How small do they go? Like this would just take me a bit more time now to get used to, because my eyes will be like, oh my god, 500 contracts, that's huge, but that's probably not that big anyway for the e-mini. You know what I mean? So it'll confuse me a little bit. So I just stick to the e-mini, where I know if I see like 100 plus, I know that's big generally. Do you set the fixed volume profile on the 5 or 15-minute chart? So Mark, at the moment, this is actually the session volume profile, right? So this is just the beginning. It's session, it's called SVP, session volume profiles, baked into TradingView. Just go into the indicators, type in session volume profile. And this basically just draws the volume profile from the start of the session to the beginning of the day, and it keeps auto updating as the day goes on. All right. So, but if I was to draw like the fixed range one, I mean, it doesn't really matter whether you draw it on the 15, 5-minute. The only reason, like, say, for example, if I want to draw from this leg up, this is the 1-minute chart. I can do it with the 1-minute chart, right? Because I can see the bottom and the top of the leg. But say the leg is a lot longer, then I might have to go to the 5-minute just so I can actually, draw it out. Does that make sense? But it ultimately doesn't really matter whether you draw it on the 15, 1 hour. It's literally just a distance you're trying to cover. Do you know what I mean? Like how big is the leg is what's important, right? So like this leg here, where's the fixed range? You could do it like that. Maybe on the 1-minute it'll be a bit difficult to do because that leg's quite big. But yeah. They do have copy trading on the prop. For DX, you need to use a third-party software to copy trades within your account. There you go, Nils. Nils got the answer. Crypto, no problem. Are you a full-time trader or trading as a side activity for you, Sammy? Technically, I'm not a full-time trader. Technically not. I mean, I work for Ola Prime as a trader, but also as their director of growth. So I do have like a salaried full-time position as well within the trading space, to be fair. So, we're a prop trading firm and a broker as well. But of course, I trade day to day my own accounts as well. And so, yeah, technically not a full-time trader because I have another job. But yeah, I've always been pretty much a trader. All right, so we're just kind of faffing about here. Nothing too spectacular. I can get rid of these black lines now. Except this one. This one, actually, the high never got taken out, to be fair. So let's look at the volume, see if we can spot anything. Actually, let's look at what do you call it? The divergent thing. Let's see if there's anything interesting to spot. All right, let me get rid of that black line. Do we see anything interesting? So we'll go back down from this low here. So that was here, this low. And then I might switch it just to candles because it might be a little bit easier to see with candle for candle. Yeah, that's a lot more clear. And then I'm just looking for like those divergence. So look here again, you can see how the sellers were weak actually here, right? Notice this one never took out the low of that candle, but in price, it did. But the efficiency, it didn't. So that's a red flag for the sellers. That's weakness for the sellers, right? Right there. And then again, this actually no, that's strength for the sellers, believe it or not. So this was actually technically strength for the sellers right here, because it did take out the low of that candle, but didn't in price. But we just kind of went sideways. And this area here, this was a bit 50-50. This was a bit dangerous, I'm not going to lie. At that point in time, it was very kind of, I don't know. And then where's the high for that? That's right there. And there. And then we got that candle. There was no divergence anywhere. No. No. Not really anything. Little bit, but now there's no real major. I mean, the best ones are the ones that are within structure, if that makes sense. So, for example, you know, if like these highs and lows were completely, you know, not the wrong way round, but like imagine on the efficiency, if like this candle somewhere around here actually already took out the high here, that would be like, oh, a really good kind of bullish signal. But everything seems to be it's quite a balanced market essentially. Buyers and sellers are equally quite efficient in this whole sort of region. Sometimes, you know, the sellers are a bit weaker, other times the buyers are a bit weaker, and then you get this kind of, you know, choppiness, but there's no kind of clear, like, oh, clear cut, look at that type thing. So where's my little table gone? Oh, it's because I'm on candlesticks, haven't I? I was wondering. Let's go back to the footprint. Come on. There we are. Cool. All right. Let's see. Still pretty boring overall. And we're exactly at the point of control as well of today. That blue line is the point of control. So we're just sort of a bit, yeah, you can see even on the volume profile, just the area that we're currently trading at, this whole area is just a typical range bound V shape, you know, triangle, pyramid, whatever you want to call it. It's just very, very range bound. There's nothing there. And then you got a gap up here and you got a gap down here. We're kind of just bouncing between them right now. So I'm still treating it more like a range bound market until we properly break one of these areas, right? Until we really get above here or get below here, then I can start looking at potentially, you know, we might get some more movement. But ultimately, while we're just in the middle here, this is range bound for me. We're just going to get kind of movement up and then movement down, movement up, movement down until something changes. So because there's nothing really too special. Like even in the footprint right now, yeah, there's nothing spectacular right now by the looks of it. We do have a hammerfoot candle. There it is. Peter, where are you? Hammerfoot's been printed. That is the hammerfoot candle right there, bearish hammerfoot candle. All the volume at the top, the buy volume, sell volume at the bottom, nice hammer candle. That is usually a very good indicator to short. So what, if you were doing a hammerfoot strategy, you do 1-to-1, stop at the top of the wick, and you do a 1-to-1. That would be the hammerfoot strategy, right? So let's see if you had an EA that just trades hammerfoots, would it be successful? I don't think we had any other hammerfoots, really. I didn't spot any. I mean, that one was a really clear one, to be fair. It was like a really nice one. Like just the way it looked, that was almost like the perfect hammerfoot candle. But no, we didn't really have any others. No. Bit of a bullish one here, but that's not really much of a hammer. And then that's the open. So yeah, we didn't really get any. Oh no, there was a bearish one right there. There's another bearish one. That candle there. It's a bearish hammerfoot. All the buyers at the top, at the wick, kind of like a hammer candle. No wick at the bottom. All the sellers at the bottom. That would be a bearish hammerfoot right there. So you would have done a 1-to-1 again. Stop at the top, 1-to-1 would be like here. And yeah, that would have been nicely worked out nicely. And then we didn't really have any others. No. Slight, not perfect, but a little bit like a hammerfoot. I don't like a bit of a wick at the bottom there. And I don't like that bunch of sellers, but good volume though, good volume on the sell side and not really much volume on the buyers. So I wouldn't really count that as a true hammerfoot. But if you did take it, I think you would have been fine, right? It never took the high out. And yeah, it would have done a 1-to-1, so you would have been okay. So yeah. Damn, you got it first. Sammy, how can I get that efficiency indicator you were showing Wednesday? Sure. I dropped it in the chat just earlier. Let me have a look. Can I copy link address? Let's try that. Paste. Oh, no, that's a YouTube redirect. Give me a second. I'll drop the link in the chat again. You can either search for it in. There it is. It's called Midday Petroleum Boom. You can search for it, or I can just drop the link here for you. All right, let me drop it in the chat here. There you go, ZT. So what is actually crack? Oh no, the hammerfoot might fail here, Peter. It got so close to TP, and oh, what is going on? Is the hammerfoot going to be wrong? That is diabolical. The hammerfoot cannot be wrong. Any news on the petrol station? No news on that. Like, yeah, just it just blew up, man. Apparently, it wasn't actually the petrol station itself that blew up. It was like gas canisters or whatever, like next to the petrol station that blew up. So the petrol station itself is still standing, but close enough. It could have very easily completely, because apparently if the petrol station did blow up, like there would definitely been like windows smashed. Because I live like 100 meters away from it, and I felt the boom, like I felt the explosions. But if it was the actual petrol station, it would have not flattened the house, but like the windows would have shattered, and it was like a whole nother level of power. So they were just like big gas canisters that all blew up, essentially. But they don't know what caused it. I don't know. Nothing's really come out. Oh man, look, the Hammerfoot's failing. It can't fail. How can it fail? The poor Hammerfoot. But what we are seeing, let me just move this out of the way. We're starting to see buyers again transacting. Bit bigger cluster of buyers coming in. And you're seeing sellers trying to take over, but instantly got pushed up against them. Doesn't look terrible. I don't want to jump in yet because this is a bit of a, it's the point of control. Look at those. Now the sellers are coming back in. Are they actually going to take over? That's the big question right now. Oh, the Hammerfoot saved itself. But look, we're getting not a lot of buying. But definitely some good sellers came in there. Oh. Will the Hammerfoot fail? That is the big question everyone's asking right now. It can't fail. Oh no, the Hammerfoot's going to fail. Oh, Hammerfoot's gone. The failure. Damn it, Hammerfoot. Damn, those buyers really did come in. And those sellers got taken out. You can see all the stops getting hit. Super, super interesting. But we're approaching the top of the range again. I mean, will buyers actually break through the highs here? Take out, I mean, they might do. Let's see how they. Like I said, I wouldn't want to buy near the top of the range. That would just be. It just feels illegal, you know. Doesn't feel right to buy at the top of the range. Until a breakout actually happens, if anything, I'll be more inclined to short at the top than buy. But we did have a bunch of sellers, get stopped out here. So probably an element of some of these guys here, entered, put their stop there, and then buyers came back in and just took them out. But buyers are just a little bit more aggressive today as a whole. They're just they want it a little bit more. They're more willing to kind of, enter at unfavorable prices than sellers are. Buyers entered not even at the bottom of the range. They kind of entered, maybe 3/4 down. They start coming in heavy again. So they're just a little bit more eager, you know. Whereas if we look at the numbers coming in, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's going to be sell numbers probably going to start coming in soon. But we're still seeing smidges of buying coming in. Look at that, 54 instantly. There's still big buyers coming in, even at the top here. They're not backing off. Look at that, 100. They want it. Buyers want it. And if they keep that up, there's only so much the sellers can, hold off. They're gonna break. The sellers will break eventually. And then we'll break out of the range. And I think this is starting to look potentially like this could be a breakout coming up, just because of the way the buyers are willing to come back in. We do still have sellers coming in, so it's going to be a bit choppy. It's not going to be like an easy, clean break. But think about it. Buyers are happy to put in a bit of size quite high up. I mean, we're pretty high up. If that's the top of the range, we're not far away from it. And they're willing to add size in chunks. So that's generally a good sign that the buyers, if they keep doing that like they're doing, 74, 50, yes, they're going to be pushed back every so often by sellers, because there's going to be a shit ton of people willing to short the market at the top. But if they keep that up, they can break through here. Coach Z said, case against Fed Chair Powell dropped. Makes way for Trump's new Fed Chair to be confirmed. That's the big candle at 10:38. Oh, so this one. Interesting. Did that come out? Nothing on financial juice. Oh, Fed swap expected to drop criminal profile. That came out at 3:18 my time, apparently. Financial juice. That was all the way back here, apparently. I don't know. Maybe the news sources are a bit off in their timings. But let's just keep an eye on the volume. So this is how you can usually tell when a breakout is going to happen or if it's not, by how much urgency there is at the top, right? So now that we're coming close to the high of the range is that black line. Notice how buyers are still willing to add into the high, 60, 70, back to 65, 80, 90, 104, big chunk there, big chunk. They want it. Now, all right, sellers dropped it back down to 50, so they're coming in heavy too, but that's to be expected. You're going to expect sellers to short the top. That's completely normal. But buyers are not giving up. They're adding and adding and adding, and they're building up that position. So if they keep doing that, they're going to chip away at the sellers. And remember, most sellers, their stops are going to be just above that high, right? They're not really going to have a stop loss that far away. The moment they get triggered out, two things could happen. Either sellers say, all right, step away. Some sellers are going to try and enter at, the moment they get stopped out, boom, there's going to be people trying to short the market like a false breakout, because it's like technically a premium price then. And there's a lot of liquidity in the book and they can add in big orders then. Or the other option is buyers are still willing to keep buying after the breakout, and then it will really be a true breakout. But we're starting to see, early on the signs of a potential breakout happening. Just by how the buying are forming isn't that buyers are serious about moving this market up. If they start just disappearing here, not really that interesting. Look at that, they're still adding volume into this market, and yes, they're getting pushed down a bit, but this is a generally early sign that buyers want it. Now, don't get me wrong. We could get to that high and a big seller will come in and short the hell out of it and push this market down again and just wipe out the buyers. That's more than possible. But it's a good sign so far. There's some big sellers coming in, trying to. So if buyers can get above those sellers like they just did there, this is looking like a breakout early on. I'm going to call it and say this is most likely going to be a breakout. Buyers are not taking any shit from the sellers right now. They are serious about adding volume into this market. And boom, stops are being triggered. Now this is the critical part. You can see all the stops being triggered, right? All this volume spiking up. There's a lot of sellers getting stopped out. Now we need to see these numbers. You can see sellers coming back in because they're pushing that number down, but buyers are pushing it back up again. They're still serious buyers. They're not, they're not giving up either. They still want it. So this is where the battle is. If it's going to be a false breakout or a true breakout, the battle is right here. We need to see buyers willing. Sellers are trying to short it at premium. Buyers got to keep adding into it. 40, 50, good. See, they're still adding into it, but they need to add more volume than the sellers essentially to really get this market up. But look, sellers are coming in quite heavy. We need to see buyers come in 80, 90. There's really, you see that? The buyers have stopped all of a sudden. We're not seeing buyers come in. Where are they? See, before they kept reloading. This time they're not really. Where are they? They've decided it's not all of a sudden. They might come in a little bit lower down, to get a bit of a better price, but they're a little bit shy. The moment we broke that high, they were a little bit shy. And the reason for that would be, naturally, a lot of buyers also took profit at the high. So a lot of people who help fuel this move, they've decided to take profit, right? So there's actually less interest now. Do you know what I mean? There's not that many buyers in the market who have skin in the game of getting this market up. So we need to rely on fresh new buyers coming in, like these people right here, that 62, to get that market up. If they fail, we go back down again. And it looks like, unfortunately, they failed just that little bit. What's the word? They fell just a little bit here. So we just got to wait a little bit. Maybe they'll come in, and we're trying to look for where that fresh wave of buyers potentially could come in the footprint, but they just, unfortunately, do you know what I mean? Didn't get that volume coming in. Price action is fucking disgusting. It's not a nice day. I'm telling you, Iron Bug. It's a very, very nasty day. But okay, buyers are starting to, all right, so they wanted to come in a little bit lower. Some fresh buyers are willing to put, they wanted a bit of a better price, waited for a bit of a pullback, and then jumped in. So that's fair enough. So it wasn't a complete false breakout, but we want to see these sellers also get stopped down. And I think after we clear this high, I think sellers might start giving up a bit until we get to like obvious other areas, like this high here. We're going to get a bunch of sellers and buyers taking profit, and then the same cycle repeats essentially. So yeah, fun stuff. Sammy Hammerfoot, oh no, ugly one. Sammy Hammerfoot, where was it? Typical Friday, exactly, Neil. Likes to play games with you on a Friday. But let's have a look at the volume. 50, 55, 32. There's still more sellers kind of willing to come in at the high. So buyers have to, we need to see that same kind of play, you know. Oh, big sellers. Oh, can the buyers get above those sellers and squeeze them out? Doesn't look like it. It might come in. That is a lot of sell volume. You know what? I might bet on the buyers here. I mean, we did have a bit of a false breakout there. Then sellers are coming in, but they're just a little bit weak right now. I'm going to go in for a buy. I don't normally ever buy until, you know, something's been confirmed, but I feel buyers want it a little bit more. Oh, come on. In terms of TP, I'm just going to target these highs here. And then I'll trail a bit. But I didn't take this on my cash. I haven't taken this trade on my cash account. This is not a trade I would normally take, because I'm essentially betting. I'm essentially front running it here. We saw some buyers were interested, but there were some big sellers. I'm front running that we're going to squeeze out those sellers, and buyers are going to be spot them and try and be aggressive here, which at this moment in time does look like they're trying to do that. But anything can change, you know, until you really kind of get that. Oh, that's good volume coming in. Really good volume, but they are getting absorbed a bit. Come on, pop above. There we go. Want to get above that high. Excuse me. Come on. Sellers, I don't like that 56 at the top, because that means we really need to break through them. There we are. Go on. Good. 120. Beautiful. Really got to break above, though. That was not really a break. We need to. I do like the volume the buyers are putting into this market, though. They're putting in some serious volume. Again, they're not fucking around, these buyers. They're serious here. They mean business, but the volume has to be effective as well. That's a lot of volume for very little movement, which is generally not a good sign, because that tells me that there is an iceberg sitting around there, and that iceberg can cause trouble if the buyers can't. Come on, get above. Sellers are still trying to short. I don't like the fact that there's an iceberg there. Come on. Add volume. We need to break through that. Otherwise, I've got to flatten. I'm going to get my finger on flatten just in case, because I'm starting to see potentially, if the buyers can't pop above that iceberg in the next, I don't know, minute or two, then I'm going to want to get out. Oh, that's a lot of volume. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. Anything, buyers? Nah, I'm getting out. I don't like it. Don't like it. It's just too many sellers. A bit annoying that they just pushed up in that second candle, but there's an iceberg order right here. If they can't pop above now, and now they pop above, this absolute piss take. You couldn't have done it 10 seconds ago before. No, you had to do it, obviously, the moment I exit. But it's fine. What an absolute joke. I mean, they haven't really broken through it yet. They're still getting absorbed at the top here. They're just not adding enough volume. I mean, they added quite a bit of volume, 100 orders there. And look at that, sellers are still coming in. I don't think it's that iceberg is breaking. They need to add probably 200-300 contracts to break through, or the iceberg cancels. Look at that again, another 76, 90 from the sell side, another 100. Sellers do not want the market to go higher. They're starting to get extremely aggressive. Unless buyers are, they did eat them up though. All right, here we go. This could be it. Because they just about poked above them and ate up all their orders, but sellers are still reloading. Oh, that was good. You see how they just took out all those sellers? Beautiful. Beautiful. Here's the pop. 60. There it is. See? The moment they pop above, boom, all those sellers got, what's the word? Stopped out. Beautiful. Touch and go there for a little while. But yeah, now buyers just want it a little bit more. I can't believe I fucking exited. Exactly. Oh, shit. What can you do? I'm not going to lie. Just the numbers, 106 and 179, that spooked me. I thought, yeah, for sure the sellers are just going to... There was nothing happening here. You know, I didn't see any buyers willing to come in. And then a couple of seconds later, they came in. It did spook me, those numbers. I thought, might as well exit now rather than, you know, go and get stopped out potentially. But it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. Buyers seem stronger, but are they strong enough to push the price up? Exactly, Radan. JCF draws. Haha, awesome. But look at Nvidia right now. Will help NQ buyers. Absolutely. Yeah, something is propping up the NQ strong. I heard earlier people were saying that the ES and the Dow was selling off, and NQ really wasn't selling off the same. So what's happening with Nvidia? Has something come out? I haven't seen anything. This was a good little... sellers are still willing to come back in. I mean, all of them got stopped out there. Now they're all back at it again. Does make you wonder why the sellers are so adamant. But ultimately, I think buyers have got this. They've been, you know, since they started that move down here, they've been pretty good at coming in when necessary. You know, they've allowed a few pullbacks when they take profit. You know, like up here, they took profit, a bunch of buyers somewhere here. And then, you know, sellers were able to just take that little bit of control, but they were willing to come back in. And a few times, every time sellers were trying to take over, the buyers stepped in and added enough volume to kind of break through. But it's been touch and go for... It hasn't been a clean move up. This is it. And I think the whole day, the moves haven't been clean. They've been very kind of... If you just look at the candlesticks, you know, yeah, very sort of, you know, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, very choppy when it moves. It's not, it hasn't moved like this, you know, earlier where it's just boom, 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 like unstoppable, or like this sell off here where it's just red, 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 or, you know, all green. It's been very kind of up and down, but slowly but surely the buyers have been, you know, doing their thing. Oh, that's a lot of volume. Look at this. That's fresh as well. That's fresh buying because we haven't really taken out the high there. So that's a lot of buyers. This could be the first sign of issues for the buyers. If they get absorbed at the top there, that's a little bit worrying for the buyers. If they put in 240 something contracts and still didn't pop it, There's definitely a lot of sell limits in the book, because every time the buyers, there's a few, stops being hit, but the buyers are putting in a lot of volume, but not really. It's not moving with a lot of momentum. So there's definitely a lot of absorption in the book right now. There will always be people trying to sell the top. Absolutely. Always going to be people selling, always going to be people buying. But this is a lot of passive selling happening, because notice how, especially here, you saw it clear as day because the number was quite big, right? There was a lot of volume coming in from the buy side, but we weren't actually going up. Normally when chunks of volume come in and the book is like thin in that area, the candle will just, you know, clear that area, right? And we're still kind of seeing it now. There's a lot of passive sellers in the market, which is slightly annoying. So buyers are being held back, not so much by aggression, but more passively. They're being held back. You know, it almost feels like there's people unloading orders on the buy side. Look at that big chunk of buyers came in. We didn't get a huge kind of, all right, a little bit. It moved up a bit. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, there's definitely an iceberg. There's definitely a lot of sell limits holding back a lot of this buy pressure right now. Now that doesn't mean there's someone out there, wanting to short. It could be buyers unloading bit by bit using take profits, you know, because a take profit is a sell limit. Yeah, again, look at that. Something's going on here. That's a little bit odd. There's definitely passively something's happening, but it's hard to know exactly what the deal is. Is it an institution building up a big short? It could be. We don't know. Is it buyers drip feeding out the market using sell limits, basically take profits? It could very well be. I mean, it would make sense as well. We had a nice push up. We're getting close to, highs here. But we're not seeing massive amounts of sell aggression, though, come in. Don't get me wrong, a little bit here and there. So it's not so much anymore, sellers actively trying to short this market. Now there are some active sellers trying to short this market, but they don't do very well either. So it's not too dangerous in a weird way. But here's the danger, though. If it is someone building up a big short position passively, their next move, once their order is filled, imagine they want to build up a position of 1,000 contracts, right? That means they need 1,000 aggressive buyers to buy into their sell limits, right? Or 1,000 contracts to buy into their sell limits, right? Once they're filled, they will then enter super aggressively to get the market down in their favor. They won't enter now because they're building up their order. They want the best price possible. So they don't want to affect the price right now. That's why they enter passively. So if it is a institutional seller building up a position passively, a sell position, then the next move to expect will be aggression from the sellers, which would potentially mean a sell-off. Do you know what I mean? Not a huge one. It might only be 20 points or something. It doesn't have to be a massive, trend reversing kind of move down, but enough to, if you were like a scalper, to get stopped out. Let's put it that way. But if it's buyers just exiting, you know, unloading some of their position, then we shouldn't expect a massive amount of sell aggression to come in, and it should be safe. But it's very hard to tell which one it is. I mean, there's no way of really knowing. You can only kind of apply logic to it. So you have to try and figure out arguments. Why would there be a sell? Why would an institution want to sell right here passively? Is there something really obvious here? Are we at like a really important high? Do you know what I mean? You want to look at anything that logically would make sense. Why an instant? And I don't really see anything majorly important. Yes, we're near a high, but why not just wait for that high to get triggered? You know, unless it's a liquidity thing, and it could be, because at that high you're going to have a lot of take profits, right? Buyers taking profit, right? That means there's going to be a lot of sell limits sitting there as well. So if we get there and someone wants to build up a short order, a big short passively up there, well, they now got to compete for liquidity from all the other buyers trying to exit as well. Does that make sense? So maybe by entering a little bit earlier passively, they guarantee that their order gets filled. Could be that. But the same could be true as well for buyers exiting. Some buyers might want to, start unloading a bit earlier on in order to ensure they unload their position at a reasonable, within this kind of area, rather than, all the sell limits get triggered and they're still in a position as a sell-off occurs, and then they're, trying to unload desperately. And so both could be true, but it's very hard to know. So the best thing to do when you see unusual absorption is, if you see good sell aggression come in and they start becoming effective, then you can assume, all right, fine, that was probably someone's built up a sell order. Let's follow them. If you don't really see major sell aggression come in, then just assume it's take profits, until the market proves you otherwise. Worst kind of movement for futures trading, but even worse. The options. Absolutely. NQ and ES hitting supply here. That's what I'm waiting for, the big sell-off. It's likely pre-weekend hedge by institutions. I would check GX level. Oh, actually, that's a really good point there, Leo. Really, really good point. It is a Friday as well. You're going to get a lot of unloading. You're going to get hedging. You're going to get all that stuff for the weekend. So hard to know exactly. But you don't really, personally as a trader, I wouldn't really want to participate in this right now. There's nothing here that kind of gives me really any real confidence. I mean, look, the likelihood is there's a good chance we'll probably touch that high, right? 312. There's a very high probable chance, but it's just not worth it. I mean, it's only a few points away. No point jumping in long again just to try and hopefully, risk reward doesn't make sense. So but nice. But either way, we had a good little we got one good trade in. Well, we would have had two good trades if I didn't get spooked by these arseholes here. Be right back, making breakfast real fast. No problem, Eric, no problem. I forget how early it is for you. It's already 4 p.m. here in the UK. You're starting your day. All right, let's have a look at the indicator, see if there was any divergence or anything interesting we can look at. So that high was taken out by okay. It's looking a bit interesting. 1 minute. Let me switch to candlesticks. So this high, it's obviously this high there. Let me just mark that out. And that was taken out. We poked above it all the way up here on the efficiency, meaning buyers are actually not very efficient right now. But that makes perfect sense. We know they're not efficient. Actually, we already identified that just in the footprint. We saw there's a lot of buy volume coming in, but they're getting absorbed, meaning lots of volume coming in, but not much movement, meaning low efficiency. So at least you know the indicator's working. It's doing the calculation correctly, because that makes perfect sense. The buyers are not very efficient at all, meaning there could be a case again potentially for a short, but you would actually want to see evidence of sellers wanting shorting and being efficient as well. You don't just want to jump in just because the buyers are a bit weak here, because like I said, it's just an iceberg, right? The buyers can break through that iceberg if they just keep chipping away at it, So yeah, we'll just kind of do that, and then eventually, if buyers just keep chipping away and keep adding volume, we are going to break it eventually. But with big absorption, there is that possibility of sellers coming in aggressive and then pushing that market down nicely. There is that possibility, but all this shows is that there is potential. Like if you were in a buy position, say you were in this long, you would want to potentially start looking at maybe exiting. If it gets a bit, if sellers start looking a bit too good, you might want to start looking at exiting. That's all it's basically. Buyers are getting weak, a little bit weaker. But it looks like they've popped through now. After all that, it looks like buyers might have just done it. I'm going to make the clusters a bit smaller again. I'm going to go to 16 because they're starting to look a bit too big, too fat, the clusters. Holy Earth, Sammy, the indicator is doing well for me. If you look at equal highs and lows on it, nice, yes. That's kind of what I've been trying to do. Look at all the different highs and lows and see, see how it shapes up on the indicator versus what actually happened, and then try and build a bit of logic. Like here was actually a very, very interesting divergence there. I just noticed. And then buyers took over. Boom, 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 boom. Shot it up. Interesting. Can't see any news on the video, but it is pumping hard today, which will influence NQ's price action. Been doing well since joining forces with Google. Nice, nice. Well, there's no direct news. I wonder why it's pumping up so much. Who knows? Insider trading. Buy NVIDIA. Apologies, I missed the start of the stream and previous. Which indicator are people talking about? Rev. This one, essentially, all it's doing is measuring the efficiency of the market, right? So it's a cumulative type indicator. So it adds up every. So essentially, the calculation is buy contracts divided by upticks. Or maybe, no, sorry, upticks divided by buy contract. I don't know. One of the way around. My brain's too slow to do the math now. But yeah, it's doing that basically. And it's doing the same to the sell side. And then that gives you an efficiency score, basically. How many ticks per contract basically moved. And then it cumulatively adds it up, just like cumulative delta, and gives you like a candlestick type chart at the bottom. Anything over zero, so once we're over zero, it means it's the buyers are overall more efficient today. So zero is down here. We've been above it. It means buyers have generally been better at pushing the market up than sellers have been at pushing it down. But for a scalper, you can kind of look at the little divergences created And as long as you add a bit of logic to what you're seeing, and you can, it can help you, I guess, make a few decisions here and there on, obviously ignore like when it freaks out like that. That's just because there's very little volume in that candle for the movement, and therefore it thinks it's hugely efficient. But you really only want to look at candle close essentially on it, right? Don't look at the candle forming, just look at candle close, because you want the full volume of the candle. And when you do add it to the chart, I would say get rid of the wick. So just make wicks white if your background's white, and then, because otherwise it just looks extremely messy if you keep the wicks in. And yeah, you can kind of, figure stuff out and play around with it. I mean, I'm still very new to playing around. I've only looked at it earlier today. I've been kind of playing around with it. See if you can find any. Ooh, look at that. Look at all those sellers buyers taking profits, sellers getting stopped out. Look at that. 404, market not found, right there. So yeah. Rev, you have to sign up to Sammy's lifetime. It's a one-time fee of 25k. Exactly. 25k is a discounted price as well. Normally it's 50k. You got 50% off right now. But there's only 2 remaining, so you got to be quick, super quick. You got to add to cart right away. This is a one-time only offer. Once this is gone, it's gone. You'll never see it again. 1660 funky SHF. Kinda, yeah. I mean, I don't like how big the wicks are, to be honest. But kind of, yeah, a little bit. You could call it that. But again, right at the top of all that volume, yeah, I wouldn't want to take that. I'll definitely be looking at more. Ideally, I would kind of want to short it. I mean, just look at the volume at the top on the buyers. Yes, I know that's going to be a lot of take profits and stops, but that is a lot. That's a lot of people exiting the market regardless. No matter how you want to see it, that's a lot of pressure being released out the market. And buyers try to buy it back up. Sellers are coming in relatively small and they're doing a lot better than the buyers. I would be like pullback potentially here. If I see sellers coming in with chunks, I wouldn't be opposed to shorting it for a quick pullback. In fact, let's load it up. I wouldn't do it on my cash account, but let's load it up. If I see chunks come in, 30, 13, there's still buyers coming in. Get my finger on the sell button. Potentially 14, 6, 8. There's no big 24. A little bit of a chunk. Fuck it. Why not? Let's do it. We gone in with a chunk. We are chunking it up. Let's see if that was the only chunk I saw. Let's see if they can do some magic here, these sellers. And then stop loss. I mean, it will technically have to be above the high, but I really wouldn't want to go above that red candle there. So I'm going to put my stop even tighter than that. Because if the sellers don't add enough, or buyers come back in again at the bottom here, if the sellers cannot get it much lower, then I'm doubtful we're going to get much of a pullback. But sellers are coming in a bit. They need to be a little bit more aggressive. I got my finger on flatten because the first sign of trouble, I am out of here. I don't like fading such a bullish market. Look at those buyers coming back in. Fuck, could be all that the market will give us, I think. They came in super quick, those buyers, 68, 57, 64. There's still a little bit of selling happening, but if they don't get below those 35, we're out. 12, 6. Come on, sellers. Give it one more stab at it. You almost, you made a little bit of progress there, but the buyer came in so quick. And this is why it's dangerous fading such a a market that's been so bullish, because you're just going to get that arsehole buyer out there just buying the dip at any given second, and then you get see, they're just buying the dip. I'll let it either stop me out. I would have probably wanted to get out the moment that happened, but I'm going to hold it. You never know, sellers might come back in, but I think that's pretty much all it will give us. So not much of a pullback. We had more of a wick than anything else. But if the sellers, that buyer didn't come in, wasn't that eager, but sellers might just about potentially come in with something here. We're getting a bit of chunks of sellers coming in, actually. So if these sellers can hold it off, we do still potentially have a what's it called, a trade here. It comes down to these guys now. 70, 60, come on. Now, minus 10. Oh, they just got eaten up. Not going to happen. Yeah, see, out in a second. You saw it, like, you saw the potential there. This dude right here, where's my pen? Just out of nowhere bought the dip, came in too aggressive. The sellers had something going. They had potential. They were trying to do it, and then nah. So, yeah, really, you should have kind of got out at that break even, pretty much. But the moment you saw that, the chances are they going to take it again? Probably not. The buyers are just that little bit too dangerous. Who the hell are these buyers? I know, right? Who are these buyers? Holy Earth went short. Oh, apologies, Holy Earth. I know it didn't quite work out. I mean, like, what the hell are these buyers so excited about? That's what I'm going to. I know, like, it's just, it is. Look at this volume they're putting in. They are serious at buying every dip right now. I mean, we're going to approach the daily high soon. We've still got a bit of movement to go, but yeah, look at that. Virtually every time frame is bullish, order book has support. I can't bring myself to go short here. That's how I blew up account for so long. Oh no, absolutely. Like, it's best not to go. Don't fight such a volume. It's again, like, I didn't do it on my cash account. I always say whenever I enter my cash account, I'll say it here, because that's like take those. I take those trades serious. On a challenge account, I don't care too much, And I think I'm still up for the day. Yeah, I'm still up for the day, so it's fine. Like, I can be a bit more, why not? Let's go for that little risk. But yeah, like, it's a dangerous move, It's a dangerous play. Fading against such buy volume is always going to be dangerous. But there is an upside to doing that, though, sometimes, because once in a while it will work. And when it does work, you got to remember, this is how the market works, right? The few times it does work, you're going to have a serious move. And the reason being is, imagine all these buyers right now who potentially are trailing. Every time people are moving their stops higher up as we keep etching up, right? Now imagine those sellers were a bit more successful and took out that low, and a lot of buyers start getting stopped out. Boom, boom. You can get sometimes these kind of really quick moves down as algorithms and whatnot all just sort of kick in, and you get this kind of just wipes out like a shit ton of orders in the book. And when those happen, the few times they do happen, sometimes they do happen, it could be a real nice move, but still very dangerous to do regardless. New York session had been hard to trade this week. London has been very nice this week, though. Yeah, How was it yesterday? I didn't trade yesterday. Unfortunately, I couldn't come on the stream yesterday. I was away, but I didn't look at I didn't even look at the market at all. The video is starting to pull back. How do you set up your trading view? I want my candles like yours. Nifa, like I said earlier to you, if you go on my channel, there's a video how to set up the volume footprint on TradingView. Look for that video. It's on my channel. It's about 20 minutes long. That explains everything. All right. It's a full tutorial video on how to get it, because I could explain it here, but truth be told, it will take a bit of time. So just watch that video and everything will become clear, okay? And it's very simple. Like, don't worry, it's not difficult to do. Oof. Oof. Definitely some people getting trailed out here. Because you got to remember, most of this sell volume is most likely, and the way you can kind of tell it's people getting trailed out. So if you just look at where the volume spiked, it becomes a bit obvious, right? So we had that kind of little wick down, right? And then just as we break that little low here, remember this is one cluster, we get a spike in volume. That's people, trailing below every kind of wick. And then we had another one down here. And then just as we get below that bearish candle, we get a spike in sell volume again. That's people trailing again below here, getting trailed out. So you're seeing people get trailed out as well, buyers. But look at this. Sellers are trying to desperately push it down here. And somehow the buyers are... Damn, the buyers are strong right now. Holy crap. Holy moly, look at this. They broke through all those sellers like it was nothing. They even kept the candle bullish, which is pretty impressive. Damn. These buyers. It feels like these buyers are not trying to stop out sellers, rather they're just buying for the hell of it. It's almost as though a lot of people's livelihoods depend on the markets going up. I mean, your guess is as good as mine why people want to buy so desperately, considering things that tensions are starting to, rise again a bit as a whole. Oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't even see all this. I mean, it's not really... But this is interesting. Netanyahu, we have begun a process towards achieving a historic peace between Israel and Lebanon. All right, it's not Iran, but that would be... I mean, what is a historic peace? I think the key word is historic here, right? Because it's not just like temporary kind of peace. If it's a historic peace, people naturally would assume that means, no more for however long. We resorted to negotiations with Israel in order to avoid a long war. Okay, so Lebanon and Israel seem to be negotiating, so that's probably help. I mean, Hezbollah attacked us yesterday and we will attack them today. Okay, well, that's bad. That's not good for the market. Missile City, stockpile so full. Surplus could be gifted to occupied territories and enemy bases. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of up and down. Like, there's no huge clarity. Why people are buying so desperately is still... I wouldn't I personally wouldn't be like, oh, this is, because it doesn't mean anything at the moment. There's nothing really. It's all just a bit. How many times have you heard the same story and then the next day all the same shit happens again? I don't think. I'm just not buying this whole peace thing. I'm just not buying it. Not yet. Doesn't make any sense. Why did it all start in the beginning? You know, nothing was achieved. Nothing actually came of it. It was all just, it was all just a bit. I'm not buying it. Buzzwords, but they can still move the markets. Exactly, buzzword. That's perfect. That's spot on right there, Ransom. It's all just buzzwords. It's all just sort of, I don't know. But they're not moving the market massively. I think I don't know. It's a Friday. I don't think it's too much news related, this buying. I think this is probably more, who was it earlier? Institutions hedging for the weekend. I think it's more just essentially money management than anything else. I don't think it's really directly related to any news. But we'll see. Next week should be interesting. Maybe we'll get a bit more clarity. And yeah. But we've hit 2 hours. I think I'll leave it at that. Guys, thank you all for tuning in as always. Really, really good session. Had a bit of fun. It was a very choppy market. So I think anyone, if you broke even or ended the day green, you did very well. I think it was a very kind of up and down, choppy market. Clarity wasn't, especially on the open, it was very, who knows at that point. And it only started becoming a bit obvious, like on this move up here. And if you caught any of these, pullbacks and jumped in, good on you. But apart from that, guys, I'll see you all Monday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your time off. And I'll see you all Monday. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.